A year in, and we're in another war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the happening to this country, and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. The American people do not want our sons and daughters to go into this unauthorized war.
Kamala Harris was right about everything.
I voted for peace and independent parties every election since then.
Y'all, we were right. My neighbor from across the street, who is a Trump supporter, just stopped me to talk about how upset they are about the war.
A bunch of MAGA fans are now furious at Donald Trump after he struck Iran. They feel betrayed.
Have any of you also been seeing the videos from those who voted for Donald Trump being confused about the potential of the U.S.'s involvement in the war against Iran?
Trump supporters are losing their minds tonight as the real reason Donald Trump attacked Iran has been revealed, and it's not what he's claiming.
The reason why Trump started this war with Iran is so he could distract from the Epstein files.
Okay, so how many of you watched that debate between Vice President Harris and the convicted felon and believed her when she said that he would get us into another war? So you voted for her? We've just attacked Iran. Yeah, we should have Kamala Harris right now.
A growing political debate erupting online as some Trump supporters are now reacting to escalating U.S. conflict with Iran. Critics say this is exactly what the scenario that Kamala Harris warned about during the campaign, arguing that Trump could drag the United States into another war with the Middle East. Now the U.S. military strike underway and the tension rising across the region. Some voters now are questioning whether the promise of no new war has been broken. Tonight we are taking closer to look at the reaction from the MAGA supporter and the warning that surfaced online, and that's why they are asking, was the Kamala Harris right? Before we continue, I want to give credit to all original creators of the TikTok clips used in this video. All clips belong to their respective creator and are here used for commentary, news reporting, and education purpose only.
Trump supporters are losing their minds tonight as the real reason Donald Trump attacked Iran has been revealed, and it's not what he's claiming. Now, as you know, Donald Trump and the administration have claimed that Iran is seeking and close to obtaining a weapon that could reach the United States, and this was a preemptive attack. But according to the Washington Post, who spoke with 4 sources close to the matter, say that that's not the case at all, and instead it was Saudi Arabia and Israel who pushed Donald Trump for weeks to make this attack, despite U.S. intelligence telling Donald Trump Iran was not an imminent threat. In fact, according to sources, it would take Iran at least a decade to get a weapon that could reach the United States. Now, we've seen Iran be attacked by the United States and Israel on 2 occasions over the last few months, and they have completely emptied the chamber and have done minimal damage. So it doesn't appear Iran was the threat that everybody made them out to be. Now, while it is a good thing that the Ayatollah is gone, what happens next is going to be vital. But Trump supporters are losing their minds tonight as they feel once again they've been lied to.
Starting a war with Iran is about money. It's about which government can be in place in Iran that will do business with Americans so they can make money. It's not about nuclear weapons. It's not about improving the lives of the Iranian people. See, 2 months ago, Trump told the Iranian people to revolt against the government, that the United States would come and save them if the government started firing on them when they were protesting. And after 30,000 people were killed in response to those protests, emboldened by the idea that the great and powerful United States and Trump were going to come save them, the U.S. finally shows up, bombs the heck out of Iran, and Trump tells The Guardian today that he's going to be in talks with Iran's leadership. He told the Iranian people this would be their last chance for years to take back their government. Who's going to do that? The last time he told them to go do that, 30,000 of them were killed by the same government that's still in power, that kept the Ayatollah in power for decades. This is Venezuela 2.0. This is, we will let you stay in power and we will stop bombing you if you give us what we want. And what they want is not human rights. Because when he was asked if he was ready to prolong the war in support of that same popular uprising he's been advocating against this regime, he was non-committal.
Y'all, we were right. My neighbor from across the street, who is a Trump supporter, just stopped me to talk about how upset they are about the war. And she was like, this is the one thing that Trump swore he wasn't going to do. And then she started talking about the gas prices and how expensive everything is. I told you guys, MAGA is falling apart. People are furious. And this is just like a random average person. So now that it's trickling down to the random everyday average people, that things are not getting better and we're about to go to a war. I mean, her and I have never had a conversation about politics because I generally try to avoid my neighbors. I live in a conservative area, so I'm just polite and like distant. But other things that they have said in front of me, her and her husband, like I know that they were Trump supporters. And they own a business, and this is starting to affect their business too because people don't have any money. Yup. She literally was like, yeah, people voted for him because we believed he wasn't going to do this and we thought things were going to get better. Then she goes, this is where it gets really crazy. She goes, we need to organize a march on Washington. People need to get down there. I was like, yeah, I mean, they did it before. Where are those people? The dam is breaking.
A bunch of MAGA fans are now furious at Donald Trump after he struck Iran. They feel betrayed. Like this guy, for example, Harrison Smith. He works at the far-right outlet InfoWars and said, quote, "Welp, I was wrong. I trusted Trump to put America first and avoid the one thing that could derail MAGA. Based on his track record, his promises, I thought he knew better. We have been betrayed." And to Harrison, look, I don't know why you thought based on his track record and his tendency to break promises, you thought he would follow through on this, but you got played, buddy. Sneeko, who's a huge MAGA guy and also incredibly strange, said, quote, "Donald Trump is a sellout who betrayed America." We've known that Donald Trump is a sellout. I guess he's just discovering this. Even members of Congress are chiming in. Representative Thomas Massey, a Republican, MAGA guy, said, quote, "This is not constitutional," in reference to Trump strikes. And finally, Kim Iverson, who calls herself an independent but of course supported Donald Trump, said, "For the first time ever, I'll be voting straight Democrat in the midterms just to signal my absolute disgust with this admin's betrayal." Now, of course, there are still plenty of MAGA fans and MAGA influencers who are falling in line with Donald Trump. That would happen regardless of what he did. But there are quite a few people in his base that are really upset right now. I think Donald Trump has done himself quite a disservice.
Have any of you also been seeing the videos from those who voted for Donald Trump being confused about the potential of the US's involvement in the war against Iran? Because, as many of you are aware, he has repeatedly said he is the anti-war president, that he does not believe in going to war. So many of you are experiencing some level of cognitive dissonance around this topic, because how can your favorite president, who claims to be so anti-war, be considering very strongly going to war against Iran in support of Israel? This has many people really baffled, and this is not the first time we have seen this since January. I want you to embrace this level of disappointment in your president for promising something and delivering something else. And I want you to consider what other areas he has done this in and how he will continue to do this, because he doesn't stand for anything. He tells you exactly what you want to hear in order to vote for him, and then he does whatever he wants.
Had we just elected the black lady with the silk press, had we just elected Big Sister General, had we just elected the black lady with the weird laugh, had we just elected Madam the wheels on the bus go round and round, we would not be at war with Iran right now. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. Joshua, why are you screaming? Joshua, how many times you gonna say this? I'm gonna keep saying it until it finally clicks. Because folks, this was an open book test. Not only was this an open book test, the professor was at the board giving the answers, and we failed. And now we have 4 dead Americans as a result. We have F-15 fighter jets being shot out of the sky by friendly fire. Had we just elected the black lady with the weird laugh, folks would have money to purchase their first home. The American people would have quality health care. We would not be at war with Iran, spending billions of dollars of taxpayer money that has not been approved by Congress to fund this war. So I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep screaming it until the American people finally understand, if you could have just set your racism and your sexism aside and voted for Kamala Harris, we would be in a better position today.
Kamala Harris was right about everything. Russia is giving information to Iran. Russia is giving information to Iran about U.S. warships, aircraft, other assets in the region. U.S. intelligence knows this. Kamala Harris said that these dictators would eat Trump for breakfast or for lunch, whatever. And MAGA laughed at her, and MAGA acted like their God King is this tough businessman who can strike deals with anyone. And Trump has always said Putin is that they have a good relationship, they're buddies, acting like he knows how to control him. No, it's the other way around. Putin knows how to control Trump, and he always has. And when Trump was asked about the U.S., when he was asked about Russia giving information to Iran, his response was, "What a stupid question. What a stupid question." Are we great yet, MAGA? Is this America first? Acknowledging that someone who is supposed to be an ally of the president, right? They're supposedly have a good relationship, according to Trump. Giving information to our enemy. Is this what you voted for? This the art of the deal?
The reason why Trump started this war with Iran is so we could distract from the Epstein files. Now, that's actually what 52% of all American voters believe, according to a new poll that just recently came out. Now, I think this poll is pretty telling of what most Americans think on this topic, and that's that Trump is definitely in the Epstein files. Oh, and also during Trump's war with Iran, Google searches for the Epstein files have dropped by 95%. And I talked about this the other day in a video I posted, but I'm just going to remind you guys again because this topic is very important.
You're spending $1 billion a day in Iran. $1 billion a day on a war that Trump started without asking any of us, without asking fucking Congress. $1 billion a day on a war that he started on behalf of another country. Another country which, by the way, provides universal health care to all of its citizens, which we apparently can't afford to do, but we can afford to spend $1 billion a day on a war that we are losing. Iran has already taken out some of the most expensive and integral military facilities that the United States has ever built. And it's been barely a week. Trillions of dollars up in smoke, trillions of dollars of your money that you earned at your job and gave to a government that decides to start wars without any plan at all, without anything except for radical nonsense being spouted into their ears about a fucking Christian apocalypse story. What the fuck are we doing?
A year in, and we're in another war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
I honestly think we're nearing the end of MAGA.
I just know for a fact that if Kamala Harris was elected president, I wouldn't have woken up last night at 5 a.m. to see a news alert saying that the United States is at war with Iran.
This post definitely did not age well. Because once again, she's been right about fucking everything.
If Kamala Harris had won the presidency, we would still be at war with Iran. I don't know how to tell you this. Somebody last night was telling me that they thought that we would not be at war with Iran if Kamala Harris was the president. I don't know how to tell you this, but they're all on the same team. Kamala Harris would have maybe done a little bit more polite negotiating with the American public to convince you that this is a better idea. Maybe she would go to the UN and she would hold up a vial and say, this is anthrax or nuclear something or whatever. She would maybe do that. But we would still be at war with Iran. Iranians would still be dying. I don't know how to tell you guys this. Not only is she a devout Zionist, her husband is a devout Zionist. They're both Zionists who want to bring about the biblical apocalypse, dude. What do you mean? Her husband, Doug, was invested in Oracle until she became the vice president. Oracle, Larry Ellison, the spy technology that's used to spy on you. Do you think that sounds like somebody who gives a shit about the American public? I always wax and wane on my belief in the American public. Sometimes I really do truly believe in Americans. Other times I crash and burn. Because apparently you don't realize that we would absolutely be okay with being at war with Iran as long as somebody with decorum was doing it. Somebody who is professional in their death and destruction and slaughter of innocent children. Is that really it? Because if that's the case, we're absolutely fucked. We are absolutely fucked.
As the situation in the Middle East continue and for the political fallout inside the United States is only growing, the war with Iran has sparked intense debate, not only between Democrat and Republican, but even among supporters of Donald Trump himself. For some critics, this moment validates early warning from Kamala Harris, who was argued such a conflict could happen. For other, debate is far from settled. What do you think about this conflict? Or could I have been avoided? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. This is a Marvin family, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. See you next in another episode.